Pollination is an important and common form of sexual reproduction in Australian flora and is heavily dependent on animals and insects transferring pollen from one plant to another as they forage for food. Entomophilic plants have certain adaptations that ensure the attraction of certain insects such as visual and scent cues. The angel's trumpet attracts moths specifically by releasing a sweet odor at night when moths are active. Pollinators are also attracted to brightly colored plants which produce nectar, such as the bird of paradise. They do not emit an aroma, for birds have no sense of smell, and are bright orange in color to attract birds that see reds and oranges very clearly. The structure of the plant allows for a bird to comfortably perch while it is feeding, and forces it to expose its neck to pollen to reach the nectar. As the bird feeds on the next flower, the pollen will rub against the correct reproductive parts of the flower, thus pollinating it. Long-haired plume grass is nemophilous and produces large amounts of pollen to recompense for excessive losses during transportation. Its pollen grains are light and dry, and its stigmas are well exposed outside the plant. They are covered in fine feathers, creating a larger surface area over which the pollen can be entrapped and collected by the wind. Seed dispersal is the removal of seeds from a plant to another location and prevents overcrowding and competition for nutrients and sunlight, thus increasing its chance of survival. The seeds of flannel flowers are covered in fine silky hairs, allowing them to attach to animals or be easily carried away from the original plant by the wind. They are adapted to remain dormant after they are released from the head of the flower in order to ensure germination occurs at the most effective time. The banksia and bottleblush rely on heat provided by bushfires to shed their seeds onto recently fertilized ground nearby in order to receive the best possible nutrients. The nitra bush is a common food source for an emu, which will consume the seed which passes through the emu's digestive system, thus germinating it. The seed is then excreted into a new location and will begin to grow. Leptospermums and melaleucas seeds are dispersed by nearby water bodies. These seeds are released from their woody capsules when the parent is destroyed, and transported elsewhere where they are fertilized and able to grow. Acacia seeds are shaped ideally to be carried comfortably on the back of an ant, which takes the seed to its underground habitat. Once it returns to its nest, the outer shell is eaten away and the seed is left to grow in nutrient-rich soils. Asexual reproduction only requires one parent. Spore formation occurs mostly in fungi and ferns, such as the Australian tree fern, which produces numerous single-celled spores on the underside of its leaves. The spores eventually germinate in the correct environmental conditions. Budding is another form of asexual reproduction occurring in staghorn corals, in which the parent coral undergoes mitosis to create an exact replica which grows into a new coral. The new staghorn coral remains connected to its parent, and as reproduction continues, a colony is formed. Vegetative propagation is a form of asexual reproduction undertaken by spinifex grass. Runners containing nodes grow horizontally along the ground in between clumps of grass. New grasses grow from buds formed on the nodes which then grow into a new plant.